Your creative practice can feel profoundly different in the most beautiful way when you integrate ceremony. Today is for all my fellow witchy artists, and we're going to talk about the 3 most essential tools to help create a more ceremonial creative practice. Welcome friends, I'm Sandler. I'm a creative, an herbalist, and a wild witchy woman. And welcome to day 19 of our 19-day creative journey with Goddess Bridget, with the creative flame of showing up to our creative practice for 19 days. And we finally did it. I'm proud of us. If any of you have been following along and also devoting time every day to your creativity, I applaud you. And for today, I wanted to light a very special candle. I hand dip it in beeswax, the pillar, and then I roll it in beautiful rose petals. Really obsessed. This is one of my newest candles. Does anyone else feel like their creations, like they kind of have like a love affair, like a honeymoon phase with a lot of their creations at the beginning when they first are born, and then you continue to have new creative loves? Well, this is my current creative love. Okay, I'm so excited for this video because, like basically all of these videos, this is something I never hear anyone talking about. So let's add to the conversation and discuss how we can really integrate ceremonial practices into our creative practice. Truly transformed my relationship to my creativity and how I show up to my creative work in my daily life. And I will say, as I've mentioned in other videos, that of course your creativity is an innate primal part of you and you actually don't need to do anything to connect to it. So I've also been realizing through creating these videos that there's not time to actually go super deep. So I'm just gonna share with you the 3 most essential tools that you kind of need in like your creative ceremonial toolkit. You're gonna want to cleanse your space, and you can cleanse yourself. I really love to cleanse my hands, especially as someone who makes handmade creations. I think this is really significant. Or if you're often, you know, a digital creative and you're on your phone a lot or your laptop, I think it can be really powerful to cleanse our hands, cleanse your whole body, cleanse the soles of your feet as well. Plants you can use for this are basically endless. My personal favorites, like what I have here, is Okanagan sage and coastal mugwort. So these are, you know, a mix of like wild plants that you foraged, can be really potent, as well as ones that are known for cleansing. Another one I love is propolis, which I also weave in. Like I love bee medicine and bee magic, but propolis has a very like a priestess frequency that can really help if you're channeling something through. Another great one is rosemary. If you're calling in protection, maybe you're going to be sharing something online and you want to have a protective field around you. And another favorite of mine is cedar, mugwort. It all just like really depends on what you're doing and what you're calling in. And the best of all is to just intuitively feel into like what plant would be good for this situation, and then either you could forage it like the cedar and dry it out and create your own bundle, or you could look at some other makers who sell it. What you're gonna want to do is actually cast your circle and actually create the ceremonial container. And again, I feel like I don't have enough time in this video to fully share that, so I'll share more about that in the future. But essentially what you're doing is calling on your guides, grounding into the earth, opening up to spirit, and really creating a protective container. So the only thing that you're channeling through, that you're creating, is pure and benevolent in intention. The second tool, which I think is actually the most important one of all, is a candle. Of course, I'm a candle maker, so I'm going to say this, but there's something about bringing in fire, as we've been learning through this 19-day series, that is so integral to our creativity, to connecting to that creative flame within us. And personally, I love to play around with candle magic, in particular with color when it comes to candles. For today, I'll talk about black protection. So if you're, posting something online, if you're going to be actually publishing something or sharing it with the world, I would burn a black candle, have yellow, which is just the pure beeswax. And to me, I always will burn a pure beeswax candle when I'm creating, because it feels like it's this energy of like truth, authenticity, of like this pure connection to divine, to the creative flame. And it feels like it just always needs to be there in my creative practice. Green, lately I've been loving burning green when you're trying to grow something, if you're wanting it to really expand and you're building on something. And another favorite of mine is red. And I feel like red is great when you're launching something or you're birthing it into the world. So whenever I publish a video like of these 19 days, I've been burning a red candle as I click publish. Okay, and then the last essential tool for witchy artists to create ceremony in their creative practice is an anointing oil. What I like to do is I cleanse my space, I open the circle, I light my candle, and then I will anoint myself, especially when I'm actually like expressing and I'm actually doing the creating. So like for these videos, I always anoint myself personally. I like to anoint like my crown, this area here, my voice, my throat, my heart, and my womb, but trust your intuition and what you feel called to do. I really love anointing with rose infused oil, but there's so many. You can choose the plant depending on what you're calling in or what creative work you're doing. Goddess oil also has vanilla in it, which I feel like is a very magnetic, sensual plant to work with. So if you really want to express, like I think rose for me makes me feel like I'm really expressing from the heart and expressing authentically. So I love to anoint with it. Traditionally, there's myrrh, there's all these beautiful resins that you can also burn. There's just so many. I love oils and it feels very ancient and it feels like you're really honoring that this is the vessel that is going to be channeling through your creativity and really honoring like you as part of this co-creation process. That when we're creating ceremony, it's acknowledging that we are like the creatrixes, the witches, the ones that are bringing through this creation and birthing it into the world. But that is only half of the story, that we are also in co-creation with spirit, with our guides, with the earth. And so I feel like cleansing the space is honoring, the land, honoring the space around us, having the candles, honoring that creative flame that we're working with, and then anointing our bodies is really honoring us as these human vessels that get to bring this creative vision to life. Creativity is a sacred act. It's a devotional act, an act of service, and it's also very sacred. And when we create ceremony in our creative practice, we are acknowledging, we're honoring, we're respecting the sacredness of what we are birthing in the world. Okay, and then the juicy final message of this final video is that I think making your creative practice more ceremonial is a reclamation of anyone, ooh, I'm getting the chills, of anyone who has perhaps walked the path of the priestess in past lifetime, or anyone who has even just walked the path also of the witch, of the shaman, of the being who is a channel or an oracle or like a vessel for spirit to flow through. I feel like part of our role as priestesses in other lifetimes and other lineages was to create as well. It can feel like a remembering. It can feel like a spell when you're creating. Yeah, our creativity, our creations are a spell. And that is what can be really fun. And like I said, it can be casual too. And that's the beauty of our creativity and the mystery of creation. But we can actually create the most conducive environment possible, the most strongly held container and space for creativity to flow through if we choose to. And we can do this through ceremony, through spell work, essentially, is what we are doing. And that can allow the creations that channel through to have a deeper level of potency, to actually come through in a way that has more depth, that has more layers, that is able to be held, right? Because when it casually comes in, it might be on the surface and it's just like the seedling. It's just like, you know, in the iceberg, it's like the tip of the iceberg. But when we create a really strong, protected, clear container for our creations to come in, we can go down to the depths of the ocean and where the iceberg begins, and we can allow what is coming through to actually have a frequency that is perhaps new. I don't even know what's coming in right now, but it's this energy that, like, that is how we can allow true innovation and true creation that will impact and change this earth, this world, this humanity as we know it. Like, this is how we create revolution, how we really participate in new eras evolving on earth, is through creating really strong and protected containers for this creation to come in. Because it can come in the most casual ways, and it can come in these spaces perhaps that are not at all ceremonial and that are actually very sterile. But when we are rooted in the knowing that this revolution that we are entering on earth is feminine, and that it is deeply related to our connection to the earth and to spirit, then we can recognize that the true creations that the earth needs will come in through ceremony, through reverence, through prayer. Woo! And so I invite you to integrate these things into your life, even if it's simply lighting a candle when you create, or even if it's simply cleansing your space ever so often. The more that we invite ceremony into our creative practice, the more we invite the creations that will change this earth to be born. I feel like what's so beautiful about this 19-day process is that it feels like the seedlings of creative, like a creative body of work that is really wanting to come through for me to share with you. And so this is only the beginning. Okay, so yeah, I just am sending you so much love if you have been here with me on this journey for 19 days. And I hope that we can continue this momentum on my YouTube channel and for all of us in our creative practice, because I know the biggest takeaway that I've felt from showing up here for 19 days straight has been that we can trust ourselves, you know, that we can trust ourselves to show up to our creativity. We can trust, and sometimes that's all that we're missing. And I'm realizing that I needed to go to this extreme and do a challenge that surpassed what I thought was possible for me in order to trust myself again. And maybe for you, you don't have to be so extreme, but that's like kind of what my energy is like. Here is to learning, to continuing to be a student of our creativity each and every day, and a devotee of this creative path wherever it might take us. So I hope you have the most blessed day, and know that I'm going to take a little bit of a break now from making videos, but I will be continuing to share here because one video a week now seems like child's play. Like, it sounds so easy compared to what I've been doing. So I'm really excited to continue to connect with you here. Let me know in the comments, how do you like to create ceremony in your creative practice? And until my next video, have a beautiful, creative, ceremonially supported rest of your day.